Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you. Don't you love a good mystery that just needs to be figured out? Sammy and the Shoebox Kids do. When Sammy slammed a long fly ball right through the window of old Mr. Chambers' house, he found more than he bargained for. Sammy is sure there's something strange about Mr. Chambers' house, and about Mr. Chambers. Everyone knows he's a mean old man, but could everyone be wrong? Chapter 1. The Confusing Window. Sammy blocked his eyes from the setting sun as he waited for Maria to pitch. She fired up her arm and released the ball. Sammy watched it sail right past Chris. "Strike two!" Maria yelled. "What do you mean, strike?" Chris asked. "That ball was way high." "Was not," Maria argued. "You're just blind." "Am not," Chris said. "Come on, you guys," Willie said. He was the umpire. "Quit fighting. It was a strike." Maria sneered at her brother. Then she returned to the pitcher's mound for another pitch. The Shoebox Kids had met after school for a softball game. Maria, Chris, Sammy, and Dee Dee all attended the Christian school in town. Willie and Jenny went to the local public school a few blocks away. Since school had recently begun again for the year, they hadn't seen as much of each other as they had during the summer, so they tried to get together at least once a week to play ball or just hang out. Chris hit the sweatshirt marking home plate with his bat. "I'm waiting," he said to Maria impatiently. Maria whirled her arm around and let the ball go. Crack went Chris's bat as it connected with the ball. Up, up the ball soared, right toward Mr. Chambers' house. Dee Dee ran sideways toward the front porch. She followed the ball with her eyes, put out her mitt, and plop, the ball landed right in it. "You're out, Chris," Willie called. Dee Dee threw the ball into Maria. "Hey!" she yelled to all of them. "Be careful! The ball almost went onto old Mr. Chambers' porch. There's no telling what he'll do if he hears a ball hit his house." "He'd probably call the police," Sammy said. "I overheard a boy at school say Mr. Chambers yelled at him one time," Jenny said. "I'd believe it," Maria agreed. "He's really mean." Mr. Chambers was an elderly man who lived alone in the old house next to the vacant lot they used as a ball field. It was a huge house, with dormers sticking out on one side. There was even a round tower in one corner, and the many windows gave the appearance of eyes, as if the house were watching what went on nearby. Most kids wouldn't go near Mr. Chambers' house. They were too scared of him. Though hardly anyone ever saw Mr. Chambers, scary stories about him had been passed on from older kids to younger ones for years. As Chris walked away from home plate, he noticed two older boys looking at them. They were pointing and laughing. "Who are they?" Chris asked the others. They all turned and looked. Willie and Jenny looked at each other. "They're new at school," Jenny answered. "They're twins and in the 6th grade. Their names are Larry and Doug, and they're really mean. They made fun of Willie for being in a wheelchair." The Shoebox Kids looked back over at the twins. "Come on," Sammy said. "Ignore them. Anyway, I'm up next." Sammy swung his bat a few times and then set his eyes on Maria's arm. She pitched the ball. Just as Sammy started to swing, one of the twins yelled, "Miss Batter Batter! Miss Batter Batter!" Sammy missed the ball. "I don't think any of you can play baseball," the twin yelled. Sammy and the rest of the kids stopped and stared at the boys. Sammy did miss the ball once in a while, but he knew he was a good baseball player. So were all the Shoebox Kids. It still made him feel bad that someone was making fun of him. "Leave us alone!" Maria yelled. "Ooh, we're scared." The boys laughed. They slapped each other on the back and walked on down the street. "Come on, let's play," Sammy said. He hit the ground angrily with his bat. Maria threw the ball. Sammy swung the bat extra hard. When he hit the ball, it shot off like a rocket. It flew over Maria's head and on past Dee Dee, right into Mr. Chambers' open window. The kids froze. They all turned to Sammy. "You gotta go get it," Chris said. "Yeah," Jenny said. "My dad just bought that ball for me when I spent the weekend with him." Sammy gulped. "You want me to go in there?" he asked. "Either that, or you've got to ask old Mr. Chambers to get it for you," Maria said. Sammy didn't like that idea at all. "Come on, it'll be easy," Maria said. "You can stand on Willie's wheelchair and climb right in. You'll be out in a jiffy." Sammy and Willie went across the field to the window the ball had disappeared through. Willie shifted himself to the side. While Chris and Maria steadied the chair, Jenny and Dee Dee kept watch. Sammy stepped up onto the chair and grabbed the wood around the window. Then he pulled himself onto the windowsill. The kids looked around nervously. If anyone saw them, they'd be in really big trouble. Sammy was leaning in Mr. Chambers' kitchen window. The kitchen was a simple room with just a table in the center and a refrigerator along the side wall. A tall hutch stood in one corner. Sammy looked slowly along the floor next to the walls, thinking the ball might have stopped there when it hit the wall. Suddenly, Sammy froze. He hadn't found the ball, but he saw something else. Halfway along the back wall, the flower pattern in the wallpaper changed. Looking carefully at the seam, Sammy could tell the patterns didn't match. "What's taking you so long?" Chris hissed. "Find the ball and get out of there." "Yeah, okay," Sammy said. He looked around the kitchen again, but didn't see the ball anywhere. Finally, he looked down into the kitchen sink right underneath him. There was the ball sitting in the drain. "I've got it," Sammy whispered. As he turned around, he noticed something else strange. "Hey, there's something really weird here. See that little round window next to this window?" Everyone turned to look at a small window about 5 feet away. "Yeah, so what?" Chris asked. "Just get out of there." Sammy slid off the windowsill and back onto Willie's chair. "Well," he said, "that round window isn't in the kitchen. It's a solid wall the whole way to the back wall, and there can't be another room because the back wall doesn't have a door or opening." Just then, Jenny yelled, "Mr. Chambers is at the upstairs window! He's seen us!" "Let's get out of here," Sammy said as he stepped back onto Willie's chair and hopped to the ground. As the others took off running, Sammy handed Willie the ball and spun his wheelchair around. They raced across the field as fast as they could go. The friends met up together at the big oak tree up the street. "That was close," Maria said. "Too close," Chris and Dee Dee said at the same time. "He just looked at us," Jenny said. "Boy, is he ever strange," Willie said. "Well, he's not all that strange," Sammy said. "There's something strange about his house, too."
The story you have heard today is a chapter of the Shoebox Kids, Book 9, The Secret of the Hidden Room, written by Nancy Speck, edited and created by Jerry D. Thomas, and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.